Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Richard Burke. I'm Executive Director of Western Liberty Network. It is about 1:02 on a beautiful Saturday, July 23rd, and I want to welcome you to the latest installment of Western Liberty Network's Saturday Zoom courses. Today, we're going to be talking with Suzanne Gallagher, Executive Director of Parents' Rights in Education, one of WLN's proud affiliates, who will be hosting a summit in the next couple of weeks. And we're going to talk about that. And we're also going to talk about the school choice movement and what people can do to make a difference with respect to the school choice movement. Before we begin, I've got a few things I need to go through. And the first I'm going to do is share the screen. I want to introduce people to the Western Liberty Network website. As you can see, when you go to www.westernlibertynetwork.org, you will be directed to this webpage. This is WLN's website, and on here you can see a bunch of resources. At the top, we always have the latest event that's going on, and as you can see, it's featuring the training that we're doing right now. But if you scroll down, you will see other things that we have done, various conferences, events, various victories and accomplishments. And on the right-hand side, you will always see a series of resources, things you can download. Like here's a recording of a training we did on how to organize around local issues. Here are some PowerPoint PDFs talking about how to use social media as a candidate or an activist. Speeches you can listen to, Senator Dennis Linthicum, Councilwoman Christina Soltis, who spoke at our conference. A lot of good stuff there. If you want training resources, a lot of them are available free of charge if you go to the training tab. If you go to the training tab, you will see this page. At the very top, we talk about various kinds of training that Western Liberty Network provides. And then there's another section here called Companion Training Documents. Here, you see a bunch of documents that are meant to be provided with a live on-site training, but these stand on their own. They're very useful if you want to learn how to do a variety of things. For example, if you want to learn how to be a good citizen lobbyist, you can click on this one. It will bring you to a PDF offering you our training handout on that topic. All of them are available. And if you go down to the very bottom, you can download in one click all of the training documents we have together. So you can really, design your own program using these documents. Scroll down a little further and you will see recordings of our various Saturday training sessions. There's about a year and a half worth of trainings on various topics. I provide some of the trainings, but we have a stable of volunteer trainers that provide training as well. For example, last week, we did our 1 o'clock Saturday Zoom session on opposition research featuring former State Representative Patrick Sheehan. We did a Robert's Rules of Order training on June 11th, featuring the head of the Informed Citizens Group in Washington State. And you go down, Janice Dysinger, Oregonians for Fair Elections, and farther down, a lot of good materials. So between the training videos and the companion documents you see up top, you can literally design your own training program. And the training is meant to be targeted toward people who might be local candidates for nonpartisan office, school boards, water boards and such, people who want to manage campaigns for those offices, people who want to be citizen lobbyists, and people who want to be skilled campaign volunteers. If you like what you see and want to help Western Liberty Network, go to the Support WLN tag, and you can make either a one-time or automatic monthly contribution, fully tax deductible. This is handled through PayPal, so you know it is secure. So that is available. As Western Liberty Network is a 501c3 organization, we do not support or oppose any candidate, even the ones we train, any political party or legislation or ballot measure. But what we do try to do is offer training to grassroots limited government activists that they can apply in any way they wish, as we try to work with them to, as we like to say, reweave the fabric of our political culture for enduring change. So any comments made by participants of this training are totally their own responsibility and do not necessarily reflect the views of Western Liberty Network. And with that, I'd like to introduce Suzanne Gallagher. Suzanne is a friend of mine, a colleague, and also head of Parents' Rights in Education, is quickly securing national reach in support of parental rights in education, hence their name, and the school choice movement. So I'd like to thank Suzanne Gallagher for joining and ask her to maybe tell us a little bit about Western Liberty Network, what its mission is, and how it goes about pursuing it.
Thank you so much, Richard. Would you be willing to hand over the hosting to me so I can also share our website? I think it's a great approach because it's not just about me. This is about an organization. And just like a Western Liberty Network, who we love because we're both essentially nonpartisan as 501c3 groups. But we also have added another element to our strategy, and we do have a political action committee. Oh, do I hear some more noise in the background? Maybe we need to mute.
Yeah, I'm going to ask everybody to mute. If you want to talk, please unmute yourself. You're going to have to do it because you're the host now.
Oh, I am the host. Okay, I didn't see that. I received that. Okay, great. So let's see. Can I do a screen share? Oh, goody, I can do it. Awesome. Okay, welcome everyone. Okay, what I want to do, I'm going to pull this down out of the way, and I'm going to go to our website here. Okay, everybody see that? This is called Parents' Rights in Education. And we were established in, I want to say, about 2010, became official in 2011. We established our nonprofit status in 2015, and this organization was originally to be Oregon only. That is where our headquarters are. I live near Portland, Oregon, and have been active in a variety of ways in grassroots efforts. Some offices held were in the Republican Party, I will admit that. But I also was a candidate for the Senate, the Oregon State Senate, and the Oregon State House of Representatives in the Portland area, actually Tigard-Tualatin. So I have some political background as well as a strong interest in K-12 public schools. My first introduction to K-12 schools was when our 3 children were enrolled. We have 2 boys and a daughter who are now grown, and they have children of their own. So we have 8 grandchildren, and even more concerned now than ever. So this is our website, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about our upcoming events. So I'm scrolling down here. I'm going to show you how to find this information. Right here at the top is our Back to School National Safe School Summit. It's our 2nd annual event. We did have one the year prior, a smaller event when we were first launching them. I took over this role about almost 5 years ago now. But 4 years ago, we had our first event, and then last year, our 2nd event. And that event was held during the shutdown. And so we couldn't even, our venue would not allow us to advertise the location, but here it is. So this event is taking place on August 6th. It will be held at the Sheraton Airport, Portland Hotel. It's from 9:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and the doors open at 9 a.m. We are the one and only Parents' Rights in Education. It's important to note that because now, actually subsequent to the passage of a very popular piece of legislation in the state of Florida, almost named exactly after our organization. It's called the Parental Rights in Education Bill. We suddenly have been, catapulted, into the national spotlight as a result of that. But this is our name, and we're the one and only organization that can boast this name. Not only is it our name, but it is the mission of our organization. Our mission is to restore parents' rights in education, and that's parents with an S apostrophe. So we're not a mom's organization, we're a parent organization, but we also welcome anyone who shares our belief that local control is key. It's not only key to public schools, but to government in general, right? And so because our K through 12 education system is a government bureaucracy, we do have the right to demand parents' rights and local control when it comes to creating policies at the local level. So it's because of that we have become, here's our PAC page. I'll click on that briefly, but we have a questionnaire. We do endorse candidates. We are not a super PAC. We're not loaded with money to help them that way. But believe me, from Florida to Alaska to California, all across the country, candidates are begging us for our endorsement because of our name, Parents' Rights in Education. That's the mission. And our tagline says that we enlighten communities, we empower parents, and we value students. So you can click on this page. This is a video that I made encouraging people to sign up for our event. And today you'll see here that we have early bird pricing, and that is extended from last week through today at 5 p.m. You can register for this event at 20% less than the regular price. So I'm going to click here. You can just click right on this icon and it will take you to our Eventbrite site. Let's see, right then, I'm going to close these guys because we don't need all those. So here it is. You know, everybody on this call can read. I just want to give you the tool so that you can find this when the call's over, okay? So you want to scroll down through this and you read about it. We're so excited. Now, why do we call it the Safe School Summit? Well, because our schools are not safe for many students these days. And as a result, their parents are, you know, they're frustrated. They feel like, oh, I can't allow my children to go to this school because they're being taught things that go against our beliefs, our family values. But not only that, academics have been sacrificed at the altar of special interest groups and a political push in our local public school systems. And that starts in kindergarten, every single grade through 12th grade. So our mission at this event is to equip parents, it always has been, to inspire, motivate, and equip. But we want to equip not just parents, of course, anybody who wants to come alongside parents at the local level, we encourage them to do so. I'm a grandma. Hey, I need to be doing this because I have time and I have knowledge and I have commitment. So we welcome everyone. You can read through this. It's fair to say that K through 12 public school students are being groomed. Absolutely they are. You want to watch this interview with one of our speakers at the event. He is a retired police officer and he has a master's degree in forensic psychology. Very enlightening. So here's, you know, more information. And then we also have a VIP dinner on August 5th with our keynote speaker, Rebecca Friedrichs. Anybody and everybody's welcome to attend this. It's $75. And of course, donations are tax deductible. You want to check that out. That is Friday night, the 5th. And here's our speaker lineup: Rebecca, Mark, Tyler Smith, an attorney. I'll be the moderator. That'll be fun this year because we got to keep people on task and on track and not going over time. And that's what I'll be doing. I'm the timekeeper too. Okay, and here's Conrad Woodall and Lee Finna. She's going to talk about diversity, equity, inclusion, and justice. uncovering the mystery. This is going to be fascinating. And of course, Richard Burke, who is, our friend and cohort, and we love what he does because all of his fantastic training is key to making a difference at the local level. Again, back to grassroots, we can do this. We just need more people. We also have a representative from Washington State. This is really, a Northwest event. We also have individuals coming from our other affiliate chapters. One of those is in Illinois, around the Chicago area. So this fellow, Jim Walsh, is a representative in Washington State. Dr. Matt Wyatt, he's a pretty serious guy, as you can tell, and he's going to talk about the money trail, which is really important. So I'm excited. Hope to see you guys at this event. Now, back to discussion about school choice. People will ask us, well, you're not for school choice. Oh, absolutely we are. We have a tab on homeschooling. We need to protect people who have left the system. Okay, that's one key ingredient. All of the money and power through the teachers unions has been centered in the state governments now. I'm going to open this up for questions in a couple minutes because I want to hear what you are interested in finding out more about. But we are also working together, and we have two speakers at our event, Mark Thielman and Leave Finna from Washington State, who are going to present the ins and outs of why choice is important. As a free market conservative myself, I do believe that competition in the marketplace raises quality. And I bet you guys think that as well. And right now we have no competition in the marketplace. In fact, our current administration in the White House has gone, above and beyond to make it clear that parents are not welcome at school board meetings, that they are not welcome to weigh in on content, what is taught to their children. They've even gone so far as to, ask the Justice Department to monitor parents and have labeled them domestic terrorists. Excuse me. What's amazing to me is that this actually was stated in black and white and has been talked about, in the Capitol, et cetera, and on the talk shows, et cetera, that parents are not welcome. How dare they? So we're going to fight. We're going to fight also for school choice. Of course we are. And what's exciting about this is that in the state of Oregon, we have an organization that grew out of a failed attempt to win a school board race. And that individual's name, but she also has a business mind. She's a real estate attorney, and she ran for school board. I helped her knock on doors in Tiger Tualatin, and she didn't win. But when it was all over, she said, "I'm not done. We've got to get choice in the state of Oregon." Why was she so committed? Because through her experience of running for office, she realized, oh my gosh, we need choice. Where are parents going to go? So we've tried this. We tried it in the early 90s. Richard and I figured out that we both worked on that initiative that was spearheaded by Cascade Policy, if I recall, collecting signatures, getting it on the ballot. That was in the early 90s, 1990. And we failed to win at the ballot box. I'd say we're ready now, wouldn't you? You bet, because more and more people are recognizing that something ain't right here in the public school system. So we have to work this from both vantage points, right? Well, Donna and her team have just notified me. She's out of town. Otherwise, she may have, been fun to have on this call as well. But she is so excited because they had a goal of collecting 1,000 plus signatures. Now, they had to get 1,000 validated signatures on a petition. This is phase one of the process. It takes a while. You can't do this overnight. You have to be very, very focused and committed. And so they've collected about almost 2,500 signatures. That's over 250% of the required signatures that are necessary. So we feel confident they're going to be able to make it through this. They're going to get through that first gauntlet. And at that point, then the Secretary of State will place a name on the 2 ballot initiatives that they are proposing. Now, their website is, their organization is called Education Freedom of Oregon. Remember that, because if you Google School Choice Oregon, you're not going to find them. Education Freedom of Oregon. And I can pull that up here. We work with other groups like a Western Liberty Network. Did I spell that wrong? Education. Whoops. Okay. So you want to check this out. Everybody should be looking at Education Freedom. Here they are. Great website, very positive, love it. Okay, what's our goal? Our goal is to ensure that Oregon families have the constitutionally protected freedom to choose where and how their children are educated, and the opportunity to request Oregon education dollars to customize their children's education. I love that word, customize, because there's more than one way to teach, isn't there? And because every child is different and every family is different. And so, we need this. We need this competition in the marketplace. So please check it out. Follow these guys. They're located in Tualatin, Oregon, and they need our support. So I think it's time to open this up to questions. What do you think, Rich?
Yeah, this is your canvas.
Okay.
Canvas. Let's do that. If you don't mind, I'd like to begin with one.
Sure.
And that is, after people attend your conference in a couple of weeks, what do you want them to walk away with that they didn't have before, that they can use going into the election cycle to advance school choice?
Okay, thank you. Okay, so
and I want to remind folks one other thing is that if you want to talk, interject a comment, or ask a question, please unmute yourself, speak, and then remute yourself so we can preserve sound quality. But we want as many people to participate as wish to participate. Go ahead, Suzanne. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Okay, so what we want to do, what we are doing, is empowering parents and citizens to understand what it means to engage in the process at the local level, because we're talking about a government bureaucracy in our school system. And I will say this, 4 years ago, when I was talking with parents, they were completely ignorant, not stupid, but ignorant of their rights to participate. They didn't know, for example, that there was a school board that was elected. They didn't realize that they could, help a candidate running for school board to get elected, and they didn't understand how to get involved. They didn't know where to go to find out more information. And they really didn't get it. They didn't understand the system. So we have a civil government, and it starts at the local level. So that's, job number one. but they also need to understand the laws at the federal level, because those laws at the federal level actually, and we have sections on our website that indicate that, you know, what you can do at the federal law, with federal law at your local level. Well, Supreme Court right here made 5 rulings stating that parents have the right to direct the education of their children. If I were advocating for school choice right now, I'd be pointing to those 5 rulings. And the first one took place in the state of Oregon, which is amazing, because the state of Oregon really is one of the most onerous when it comes to stealing parents' rights. Not only the state of Oregon, but the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. And you can read this on our website, but here's an organization called America First Legal, and they help parents know what to do to file a complaint. There it is right there. They can click on that. So we want folks to walk away from this event understanding that they are supported at every level by federal law, by state law, which is amazing. Here we have our state chapters, and we're listing Oregon. Oregon law is really, a lot of it's really great. You want to go through here and take a look at some of our information. But here's an education law in the state of Oregon requiring that, that courses and instruction in the Constitution of the United States and the history of the United States shall be taught beginning in the 8th grade and shall continue through the 12th grade, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. That's 5 years. Every year they should receive this instruction. If that is not happening, you need to let your school district know, and go to your school board and say, hey, what's going on here? This is in statute in the state of Oregon. So these are just some examples of laws. In addition, we want them to know the rights that school board members have. And Tyler Smith is an attorney. He's going to be talking about that. As far as school boards, what rights do they have? Well, they have local rights to create policy. They don't have to go along with what the state is saying, you have to do this and you have to do that necessarily. They can make policies that are local. In addition, as far as school choice, we want to empower our citizens at the local level to know about their opportunities when it comes to the initiatives. So the representative, Jim Walsh, who is from Washington State, is going to talk about the initiative process, because he is running quite an aggressive effort to repeal some bad laws that were passed in the last year that infringe upon parents' rights. And so people need to understand how these processes work, so that, you know, it's not like going through your typical, you know, drive-through restaurant where you place your order, you know, with the order taker, and then you drive, you know, what, about 30 feet to the payment window and give them your credit card, and then boom, you know, it's done. For example, these 2 school choice initiatives, they will not be on the ballot until 2024. So that's a long haul, isn't it? In the meantime, we have an obligation to our students to keep putting pressure on local school districts. Also, we want to share successes of school districts who have won elections. They have made changes with their administrators, hired new administrators who will support their policies, which they have the right to do. They have the right to hire and fire their superintendent, and they are doing that. So it's important to understand, you know, your state laws and the relationship between the superintendent of the state superintendent and the local school districts as well. So what are you going to gain again to answer the question from Richard? It's, you know, this is a big subject. It's very serious. There's no one approach. And so we want to introduce all these things. We'll also be providing all of the attendees with what we call a landing page. So it's very similar to what I'm showing you here, except that we will literally have links to specific documents, PDFs, anything that pertains to the presentations that are being made by the 8 presenters at that event. It's going to be very, very helpful going forward as well. And I see that Michelle has a question. You have your hand raised, Michelle. Thank you so much. What did you want to know?
For both of them, for both of the sites that you showed, I'm assuming the Parents' Rights in Education might have something to do, might also give a choice if they want their students to either be homeschooled or attend a private school. Is it the same for the Education Freedom of Oregon site too? I'm not trying to sound like too negative, but like, it's going to take a while to change public schools. But in the meantime, I would think that putting pressure on them, I mean, like it would put more pressure if more parents pulled their kids out of the public school system, be like, we're not going to take this anymore.
Well, as I said to a similar question from an individual at a local get together recently, Michelle. I asked the individual who challenged us. Do you see my hand here on this page? It says homeschooling.
Yes.
Okay, so many resources. What's the law in my state? Homeschooling co-ops, resources to get you started. So this page has been on our site for about 3 years, as long as I've been around. The organization initially was addressing comprehensive sexuality education. And as you know, that's not the only issue. There's a lot. But we have to keep in mind that not everyone can pull their kids out. When we give them lots of information and they are fully aware of what is being taught, they will make that decision on their own. Again, our goal is to empower them. But if we only tell them that's the only remedy, after all, we can't force anybody to do anything. We want to empower them to do what's best for their children. And in many cases, I can't tell you how many people I've counseled who have a 5-year-old entering kindergarten. What are we going to tell them about that? We're going to tell them exactly what's going to be taught to their child that's at age 5. And many of them, and I say, you know, you could probably cover the information that your child at 5 needs in 2 hours a day by yourself, correct?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And I
so they need to know that they have that option to homeschool or to get together with other parents. There's many more options now for parents than there ever have been. And by the way, I don't know if you know this, you may probably sound like you do. When my kids were in school in the early 90s, Oregon was very well known for their homeschooling community, that there were more homeschooling parents in the state of Oregon percentage-wise than any other state in the union. So this is not a new concept at all in the state of Oregon, but it is certainly very popular across the country now. And so parents are making that choice, and we're glad.
Yeah, I apologize for not seeing that earlier at the top right. I'm viewing this conference via my cell phone.
Sure, so absolutely.
But yeah, I totally agree that not every parent's gonna have the the opportunity to either homeschool or private school, mainly due to socioeconomic, what's the word I'm looking for? Due to their socioeconomic status.
Their personal situation may not allow them, but we encourage them. For example, if they're a single parent, can you get together with some other parents who desire the same the same opportunity? This is where community. Oh, I'm going to let this woman in, Stephanie.
And by the way, while you're doing that, I'll interject that even if you are a parent who is not in a situation where you can, pull your kid out of school, homeschool them, or put them in a private school, information you get at this conference will help you to understand what your rights are as parents of a child in public schools and how to successfully assert those rights. And that doesn't be a stopgap until people are ready to take advantage of other alternatives.
That's perfect, Richard. Thank you. Okay, yes. Hi, Barbara. You have a question.
I'll unmute. Yes. First of all, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I've donated a small amount. I did receive your emails.
Oh, thank you so much.
First of all, I hope that everybody's working together like with Cascade, because they have been involved for so long with the school choice issue. And I haven't seen anything on the ballot measure. And I know Arizona just did have great legislation. So I figure if Arizona can pass school choice, Oregon has a chance. Maybe you can talk about the Arizona change. And the bigger question is, what about the teachers? Do you have teachers that are speaking up, or because they are muzzled with the unions? How is all that going with teachers?
Oh, that's a great question. And, we have a lot of excellent teachers. We've got some, teachers that are activist teachers also in our schools. It's very disconcerting and frustrating. We don't want our schools to be politicized. And we take the position that if it's sensitive material, age appropriateness wise, okay, a lot of these things are very sensitive. If it's sensitive, if it is controversial, which would include political, okay, then we should have opt-in. But I'm scrolling down here on this site. If you're not familiar with this woman, Rebecca Friedrichs, she is amazing. Rebecca Friedrichs taught for 28 years in the state of California. And she was a union rep for a while, even, because she wanted to make a difference. She wrote a book called Standing Up to Goliath. And that book has really gotten a lot of attention from teachers, but not enough. And this is why we have so much respect for Rebecca. She sued the California Teachers Union. Now, California isn't a small place. It's a big state. And the union also recently, and she's a friend of mine, and she spoke several months ago. It's been more than it's been a year ago. She said, Suzanne, I want to produce a documentary. And I thought, wow, that's a huge undertaking. But she did it. It's a 2-hour documentary, and it's called Whose Children Are They? So she did that in collaboration with Charlie Kirk and, some others who, had some funding resources, and they were able to get that launched. If you haven't seen it, you've got to watch it. Many of the individuals, parents, et cetera, that are featured in that film are individuals that we know and we work with. And it's just amazing. But this is why Rebecca is our keynote, because she pulls it all together. She gives you that bigger picture of who are these people? What is really going on here? Well, it is political. And early on, parents would say to me, oh, well, is this political? Oh, I didn't think it was political. Well, okay, Everything's political, guys. We know that. It looks like all the people on this call are very familiar with that concept, but especially a bureaucratic system like the K through 12 public education system, that's definitely political. It's a government school system. And there is a national, Department of Education. So yes, and it comes from the top down. And guess who is the largest single contributor? And I have to use the term because it is a fact. This is education now, guys. The single largest contributing lobby to the Democrat Party is the National Education Association. And they are affiliated with many other groups. I won't go into all the detail, but Rebecca covers all this. She's got it down. She talks about it all the time. She's been, in the media many times. That is the thing. Now they do have a strategy. So this is what we need to be sharing with individuals is, what do we do? What is our strategy? If I'm a teacher, what should I do? You should get out of the union. You have the right to leave the union, and you got to do it in September. That's why we're hosting this right now. Yes, it's summer, but we need to prepare you before the first day of school. And in some states, that first day of school is at the end of August. So we can't wait until, October to have this event, because we want to prepare our families now for what's coming. And the same way as with the teachers, we want teachers to attend this. If you know of a teacher who's currently teaching, or maybe does substitute teaching in any way, even a staff person in a public school, they should be at this event. And if they're saying to you, well, I can't afford it, and maybe you can sponsor them, they need to be here to hear Rebecca Friedrichs. She is a teacher. She has sacrificed, she finally had to quit teaching. She sacrificed her teaching career to do what she's doing, and that is to tell you what is going on and who are these people and what can you do about it. Did I answer your question? Good. Thank you for letting me get them. And then this guy, same thing. I mean, this is Mark Thielman. Mark Thielman was a superintendent in a public school and a charter school. Actually, he actually converted it to a charter school because they were struggling financially. Mark, he's talking about real educational choice for everybody. He is the chief petitioner on the two initiatives. Oh, Stephanie, I guess, went away. Now she's coming back. So you want to hear from Mark. Mark he lived in the system. He was an administrator. Okay. Who do I have next here? Okay, Tyler Smith. Tyler Smith is the special counsel for the Newburgh School Board, who they were able to elect a majority of individuals who were concerned about what was going on in Newburgh and all of the politicization in their district, K through 12. And Tyler wrote the policy for the school board that they presented and passed. And it was highly controversial, but they prevailed. This is a Cinderella story of a small town that took their schools back, essentially. And they did have to, unfortunately, let their superintendent go. Why? Because he refused to implement the policy that they passed. I mean, as simple as that. And of course, since then, other things have taken place, but they have prevailed. I mean, you want to hear this story because it can happen. If it can happen in Newburgh, it can happen anywhere. Any small school district, and of course, big ones too. But my admonition is people have to get together. They have to support what they believe in. Maybe that means, Michelle, that they need to take their kids out now. Why? Until things turn around, they're out. That's what I do. Okay? But again, I have to care about, and I do care about, the families that are unable to do that. So we have to fight for them. Millions, billions of dollars have been allocated to our public school system. And as Mark Levin said on a show not too long ago, we feature his clip on our website. They belong to us. The school systems belong to us. Okay, we let this happen. I hate to say it, but we did. We weren't paying attention. This is what I call it, guys, systemic complacency. There is no room for that in the United States of America, where we do have a say about what's going on at the local level. And, this idea of, just really abdicating all responsibility for our government doesn't work, does it? Because people move in and they want to change everything. They want to change it. They will go against the Constitution to change it. So we can't allow that. That applies, across the board. As you can see, my heart is for the Constitution. Conrad Woodall, amazing guy. I just met him not too long ago. He's retired police officer in Sacramento. He moved to Idaho. He's heading up our Idaho group. He's fantastic. He presented some factual information that just blew us away. Now, grooming the kids. Well, what does that mean? I mean, is that illegal? Can we do something about it? What can we do? Can we actually sue them on those grounds? Well, we're going to present you with some exciting, a new, exciting, very simple procedure that individuals can do. They don't need a big organization to help them. And we'll be sharing that at our event. We'll record it, but you need to be there to hear this. It's called, you can file this with your local government, with the county. It's called a restraining order. Hello. I know. Look at this gal, Stephanie. Yes, restraining order. If anyone is grooming your child and you have proof of it, you can file a restraining order. And it is incumbent upon the judge to get the information. So you don't have to do your FOIA and all that. Well, no, because the judge will require that information, but you have to document very, very specifically what is going on. You have to show proof. That means books, that means films, that means, but you can do that. If another child in the school district, and I have many reports of this, and just a sec, I'll just get to you in a sec, Tim. Many reports of individuals, just a sec, Tim, of individuals who are bullying. That's another one. An adult or another student. By the way, students can groom too. They groom the students who end up grooming the other students, okay? So, but this is going on in the schools where kids who are vulnerable are being targeted. And they're also being targeted by, not just teachers, but other school staff. Now, we just talked about all the great teachers. Yes, we have a lot of great teachers. We're not talking about those teachers. We're talking about specific ones, but Conrad has lots of, we publish this. You want to sign up for our news alerts. If you're not signed up, you want to go to our Join Us page, fill out that information so you get on our email list. I also do a podcast twice a week. I had to take a little break from that for the last few weeks, but yeah, all these podcasts, we feature Conrad Woodall and the documentation of proof that this is going on in the public schools. So, okay, so Tim, what is your question?
Excuse me. Yeah, just a clarification.
Yeah,
when you talk about grooming, you're talking about grooming for the purpose of sexual exploitation, right?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to know.
Yes,
Go
because yeah, thank you, Tim, for that clarification, because it is a term that people use rather loosely in relation to well, okay, in relation to other things like, you know, for example, critical race theory and those kinds of subjects. But this is specifically associated with, but it can be also pre-grooming. So there's this other category, pre-grooming. When does pre-grooming occur? Oh, kindergarten, first, second, third, fourth grade, that's pre-grooming. What about counselors who are talking to your child about changing their sex in the state of Oregon? If they do that when they're 13, 14 years old, by the time they're 15, they can facilitate directing them to medical clinics who will provide them with hormones, surgeries, et cetera, without parents' knowledge or consent. And that's pretty scary. And I get those calls. Okay, Stephanie? No, yeah, Stephanie.
Yes, our board, our school district voted in a nonprofit to help spiritual coaching in the Westland Wilsonville School District, that they're going to be actually reaching out to children.
What do they call the coaching?
They're a nonprofit, so they'll be like spiritually coaching, like that the family unit's not fluid. Yeah, that it's part of this. Yeah, it was something. Yeah.
Oh.
So that's that. I would feel that that's the same kind of coaching. I mean, that's.
Oh, well,
I mean,
they've actually they have created a formal program. I didn't know about this, Stephanie. I'd love to have you contact me and we can talk further. That's a formal program. Now, I've been following Westland Wilsonville, and I've spoken at their school board meetings, et cetera, in the past. We don't have a chapter in Westland. We desperately need one. Yeah, but it is notorious, Westland Wilsonville. There have been issues in that school district. I do have reports from several parents that, and I know about several situations where there has been bullying, where the administration has encouraged people to leave the district when their child was not responsible for what went on. Okay, I'm not going to go in the details here, but yeah. So that doesn't surprise me one bit, but I'd like to know more about it. If you could help me out with that, with some research, and we'll report on it. This is wrong. See, the thing is, what we're finding is that in those kinds of situations, oftentimes they're kind of snuck in. I mean, they don't keep it from you. Usually it's on their website, and you know, maybe they'll put out an announcement, but the way it's packaged, when you say spiritual coaching, is that the term?
Yeah. So you had to really dig in and really like go to the board meetings.
Okay.
Listen, and then you had to go to Pamplin Media, like the Wilsonville Times, but it's not until you subscribe to the newsletter and pay for a service. I mean, you have to really, I mean, I've joined the Oregon Moms Union to really learn. I mean, I wasn't, and I feel so guilty because I'm a really good mom, but it wasn't until I was working remote from home that I sat down and was working side by side with my child, that I sat and I heard and my husband heard, and I thought, wait, what did they just say?
Okay.
And that's when I woke up and I thought, I have always been engaged and been my child's advocate. And it was like, wait,
sure.
what is happening?
Well,
and
so,
like, I woke up and then I was like, what has happened to this? My child's young and this is scary.
Well, so what you need to understand, Stephanie, is that there's a different mindset by the bureaucracy in the public schools today. Now, again, it's not everyone. We have to, you know, recognize that it's not everyone, but pretty much everyone. There's this mindset. And it was reintroduced to me about 4 years ago, when I first took this role, I've been doing this for over 4 years myself. I helped name the organization when it was established in 2011. And it looks like we need to wrap up. I got a little note from my friend Richard. But here's the thing. This is the final the final bit of information I'm going to share with you. You can always contact us later. And that is this. So I go to the school board meeting and I speak out against the plan to add reproductive health care to the local clinic. This is Tiger Tualatin. So the plan to do that. The board, unfortunately, voted unanimously, Tiger Tualatin, to do this. There were 2 conservatives on the board that we thought for sure they would vote no. And the main reason that we were advocating a no vote is because parents are not involved in the decision-making at all. In fact, they're not only not asked permission of, but there's no obligation to let them know that their child has been to the clinic. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, in my testimony, I challenged the board. And I said, why are you doing this? It's really, putting the school board and the district, at risk for libel, for lawsuits. We're talking about medical treatments here. Even if you don't do them yourself, you're going to be referring them out. There's problems here. Plus mental health counseling. That's another thing. Parents don't have the right to know or consent to mental health counseling. Okay. Every single one of those school board members voted yes, even the 2 conservatives. Huge disappointment, huge disappointment. Next. So after it was all over and they all voted, the president of the board made a statement to make sure that everybody in the room knew that they were not an academic institution, that they are a social service agency, as I insinuated. I said, you're not a social service agency, you're an academic institution. So we need to recognize that this is a reality, that these school districts see themselves in a role that to do what you're talking about, to invite some nonprofit. We need to do research on this nonprofit. What are you talking about? Spiritual counseling? That's not appropriate in the school. Number 1, do you have to have written consent for your child to go to that? Probably not. I would bet not. And so what are they talking to your minor child about behind your back? It is not acceptable. But this is not unusual. In fact, that was done in Newburgh. We have countless stories all over the country of these kinds of situations. It's got to be stopped. And on that happy note, we encourage you to all enroll and come to our event. It's probably one of many things that you need to be doing going forward. And we want to empower you. We need more people. Bottom line, guys, this is grassroots. We need people to get involved and to get educated and to know their rights. And that's why we call ourselves Parents' Rights in Education.
Suzanne, I think you're still sharing your screen. I don't know if that's.
Oh, I will send it back to you. I'll stop that and I'll send back the. I'll give you full control again.
Full control. Oh my! I hope I don't hit the self-destruct button.
Here we go.
Well, Suzanne, I want to thank you for giving us sort of a heads up and some detail about the upcoming conference. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to do my best to spread the word about it. I think school choice, as someone has said, is the civil rights issue of our time. And all of you, I want to thank you for taking part in the session today. Next week, we're going to talk about how to build a campaign team for the fall, whether you are a candidate or you're a campaign manager, or even if you're putting together a campaign, an ad hoc wildcat campaign to support a ballot measure or a candidate that you like. This will be for you. This will be how to build a team and how to get it to perform. And now is the perfect time to build it. So that'll be at 1 o'clock next Saturday, July 30th. In the meantime, I encourage everyone to get their tickets for Suzanne's conference. There's a link to it on her site. There's also one on westernlibertynetwork.org. And if you have any questions, contact me through our contact page. And unless anyone has anything for the good of the order, we'll call it a day.
Thank you. Happy Saturday.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Best to you. God bless you all.